Head on Q2, Upward Bound.
These programs are very important, and we're proud of our participants.
From the battlefields to the classrooms, one group looks to give veterans a leg up on education. Plus, tensions on high.
President Trump will never allow mob rule to prevail in America.
The president doubles down on his decision to send National Guard troops and Marines to Los Angeles. The MTN 430 News starts right now. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for being with us on this Wednesday. Andrea is on assignment right now. I'm Don Hudson. Our top story, storm activity is ramping up across Montana. The clouds rolling in this afternoon and storms are popping up across the area. And in some cases, this system could turn severe. With the very latest right now on what is happening and what we can expect, here's Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh.
As you take a look at Doppler radar here this afternoon, you can see all the lightning here in the yellow and the orange flickers across the screen. So a first wave moving in, you can see this trough off into Idaho continuing to move this direction, and that will keep the chance of some storms going as well. We've seen some heavier rain here, especially for you north of Harleton, Judith Gap area. And so for that, we still have a flood advisory into effect for portions of Judith Basin, Fergus, and northern Wheatland County, plus a lot of smoke that's been affecting air quality across northeastern Montana this afternoon. The showers and thunderstorms will continue to be active into this evening. Some could have pockets of heavy rain. We've already seen that, some hail and some wind. Details coming up.
President Trump has made budget cutting one of his top priorities since entering office. In that, the president is proposing massive cuts of $163 billion to non-defense programs. Now, this includes cuts to TRIO. That is a federal government program that supports secondary, post-secondary, and adult students toward educational achievement. Currently, the administration's proposal would eliminate $1.6 billion of support to colleges and universities that serve 880,000 students through the TRIO program. Some of those students include America's veterans. Despite the uncertainty on the horizon, the group honoring the success of the program in Billings today. Through food and fun, Upward Bound helped connect veterans with local service providers in hopes of furthering educational opportunities. Our Hannah Pettiferi has the story on how this get-together is providing a fresh start.
It's a beautiful day.
It's a celebration of those involved with the Veterans Upward Bound and Federal Outreach and Student Services Programs, TRIO.
Veterans that have been in the Veterans Upward Bound program in the last year and years past.
And a celebration of their achievements.
Whether it's going to school or a new job, graduating.
Timothy Newman, a U.S. Marine Corps vet, joining in at the third annual barbecue.
Seeing a lot more veterans and just TRIO staff coming together is really great to see everyone.
He's also thankful for the new opportunity these programs are providing.
I used VUB to get back into college after almost a decade of being away from school.
Adding, VUB made the transition easy.
It put me at ease.
Mike Wolf, the assistant director at VUB, saying that's what it's all about.
If a veteran wants to go to school, we help identify their strengths and weaknesses and then help them build on those weaknesses so that they're better prepared to go to school.
The transition can sometimes be challenging.
Taking a look at what their needs are, what their ideas are.
Providing solutions to those confusing times.
And then kind of filling in those gaps as far as what are their options.
Bringing us back to today.
We're celebrating all our participants in Montana.
Hannah Romick, once a student, now an academic counselor in the Upward program.
Just in the Billings area alone, we serve over 2,000 individuals every year that are high school students, that are adults in the community, that are veterans.
Hannah saying she too is grateful for all the TRIO programs.
TRIO changed the course of my life. I wasn't going to go to college.
And on this day, celebrating what they can do for the community.
Helping low-income and first-generation students succeed and find their place and find some support that they might not have otherwise.
In Billings, Hannah Pettiferi, MTN News.
The Gallatin City County Health Department has confirmed a 12th case of measles. Now, this latest case, which was reported on Monday, is community acquired, meaning that there were no previous contacts with known cases or no travel history. In total, Montana is reporting 20 measles cases statewide, with Gallatin County accounting for 12 of those cases. Measles, of course, is highly contagious, spreading rapidly among those without immunity. State health officials believe that a decline in vaccination rates is really a key factor in this current outbreak. This evening, President Trump is touting a trade deal with China as his administration continues to defend its decision to send National Guard troops and Marines to Los Angeles in wake of violence and protest aimed at ICE agents and law enforcement. Erica Brown has the latest.
After 2 days of negotiations between the U.S. and Chinese trade representatives, President Trump declared in a social media post Wednesday that a trade deal with China is done, while acknowledging both he and Chinese President Xi Jinping still have to approve a final agreement.
He spoke to his trade team, who did a fantastic job negotiating this on behalf of the United States and meeting with their Chinese counterparts. The president is talking to them about the details of it now, but what the president heard, he liked.
The president said the U.S. will keep a 55% tariff on Chinese imports, while China will keep a 10% tariff on American goods. Trump also said Beijing will supply the U.S. with magnets and rare earth minerals, which are vital to a number of industries.
This is an American agreement. If you're an American company and you need magnets, they are going to approve it right away, which is what we needed.
Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick told CNBC China agreed to do more business with the U.S., including buying more U.S. agriculture and equipment. The White House is also doubling down on President Trump's decision to send National Guard troops and Marines to Los Angeles in response to protests over immigration enforcement raids.
President Trump will never allow mob rule to prevail in America.
The Trump administration says the troops are providing protection for federal agents as they carry out immigration raids.
It's the right decision to be deploying the National Guard in Los Angeles to defend ICE agents.
The White House says the protests will not deter ICE from enforcing President Trump's mass deportation policy. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Nearly 10 years after an arson, the historic Helena Fire Tower's makeover is now done. The mayor, Wilmot Collins, was joined by commissioners and firefighters to celebrate the milestone for the Guardian of the Gulch. Work to ensure the tower's structural integrity while keeping the tower historically accurate began back in December and finished up last month in May. The new lumber, of course, is a different color than the rest of the structure, but it will naturally weather to match the older pieces. Despite earthquakes and fires, that fire tower still stands tall and is a symbol of resilience for the community.
I hope that the fire tower can represent, the history of the area and what some of our ancestors went through to establish the community.
It's obviously very visible to everyone in Helena, and to be a part of that and keeping that alive, that's what's important to me.
Dick Anderson Construction actually completed the restoration. That bid was nearly $386,000. The city also receiving a donation to add some new lights. The latest snapshot on inflation shows prices edging higher, but not as much as expected. Also, the government's report signals that so far, tariffs are not having a broad impact on consumers. Kelly O'Grady has a story from the New York Stock Exchange.
Prices at the grocery store ticked higher as inflation picked up slightly last month. The Consumer Price Index rose 2.4% in May compared to a year ago. That's up from a 2.3% yearly increase in April. But while groceries edged higher overall, egg prices dropped, as did gasoline, and increases in rent slowed down.
Those prices were increasing month after month since the pandemic reopening. We are starting to see that the rate of increase of shelter prices is decelerating. And that's really good news because you spend so much of your monthly budget on your house, on your apartment.
The inflation report signals that President Trump's tariffs have not had a broad impact on consumer goods, but some sectors are feeling the pain. Detroit Axle says tariffs on auto parts might force the store out of business.
They've been around a long time, and there's a lot of people who come here and depend upon them to get their parts for their vehicles.
President Trump said the inflation report showed great numbers and called on the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates by a full point.
The Federal Reserve will meet next week, and despite the urging by the president to lower interest rates, it is highly unlikely that the Fed will do anything when it comes to interest rates next week.
Overall, the government's report was better than expected, calming nerves here at the New York Stock Exchange. But inflation is still higher than the Federal Reserve's 2% target, and with tariffs at the highest level in decades, some economists predict that prices will continue to rise through the end of the year. Kelly O'Grady, CBS News, New York.